Welcome to Frank Bruno Law. I am Frank Bruno. I'm an elder law and estate planning attorney in New York. Today I'd like to give a shout out to a group of attorneys in Queens County, New York, the Assigned Counsel Association of Queens Family Court. I spoke to this group today, and they're insightful, they're kind, they're considerate, and they're a hell of a group of lawyers. So I really enjoyed speaking to them. So today I took the PowerPoint presentation that I have that can go as long as an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on whether or not I go off on tangents with stories or examples based on questions. And I boiled it down to an hour. We did this as a lunchtime presentation. And I focused on a few things. Long-term care and how to protect your assets for that. I discussed with them the power of attorney and the difference between the print off the internet power of attorney form and a power of attorney that you can obtain from an elder law attorney, which is a more robust document and would provide for certain contingencies, such as going into a safety deposit box or applying for Medicaid as the agent for a person. So besides highlighting those specific areas that I just mentioned, I did field some questions. And one of the questions that I had was, this particular attorney knew of a person, I think a family friend, that had transferred, when the parent had gotten older, had transferred the house into the name of the adult child. Now, so we had some free-flowing discussion about the pros and cons of that type of action, and whether or not it is legally permissible, and whether or not it's a good course of action. So a parent can transfer a property to a child, and you could do it tax consequence free. You don't have to pay any transfer tax on that type of transfer. Now, if you have a mortgage, this is without reading the mortgage, but based on experience, that mortgage, if you have a mortgage, there will be a paragraph, a clause that will provide a due on sale clause. So even though the transfer is not a due on sale, the person that was, the transfer to a child, an adult child, is not a sale. However, it's like a sale adjacent. It's really close to being a sale. It's at the very least a transfer, and the person that's on the mortgage is no longer on the deed. So the bank will not like that, right? They cannot like that. His father had passed away a number of years ago, and the children inherited the home along with the mother. There was no will. It passed by the laws of intestacy, and there is now a situation that multiple family members own small percentages of the home. 13%, 16%, 12%, right? And the circumstance presently is that some of the family members aren't getting along. And one of his siblings started a partition action. A partition action is where a person that is on a deed that has a certain percentage of ownership can go to the court, and really the request is, court, judge, I own a percentage of this home. I own 4%. I own 16%. That's real money, but it's trapped in the brick and mortar of this building. please allow the building to be, or require the building to be sold so that I could access my equity. Now, there are instances where it goes all the way to a sale. The court appoints a person to oversee the sale, and it actually takes place, and the money is divided pursuant to the, in accordance with the percentages. More frequently, this is a legal strategy employed by the person that has a percentage just so that they could be bought out, right? They make that application. It's a request to the court. Please force the house to be sold, direct that we sell it in the open market so that I could get my equity out. And along the way, that person's strategy is to really force a buyout. So my office is on occasion involved in cases like that because often enough, people that inherit homes together don't get along. That's why a plan is necessary. Ways to protect your real estate investment. And it was about a real estate matter. And he got a high recommendation from that attorney to me. I had spoken to the attorney in advance. He asked me if I could handle it. It's a specific issue related to real estate. I spoke to the gentleman, and where he lives is about, 45 minutes from where my office is. So at the end of the conversation, he said, well, I really have to think about this because I'm not sure I want to come to your office. So he called back today and in fact made an appointment for tomorrow. So interestingly enough, what I explained to him, it was really the aftermath of a plan, and it's buying out siblings, right? From they're each percentage owners of a piece of real property and wants to know how to go about doing that and speak to me about specifics. What I explained is that we probably don't have to meet each other that frequently. The relationship can be ongoing, but we meet for an initial consultation, a discussion, a conversation about what has to take place. Then a lot of the interaction can take place. Phone, email. I still have a fax that's used much less frequently, but phone, cell phone, office phone, email. So today I wrote a blog post on 8 ways that you can protect your real estate investments. So the number one reason, the number one way to protect your investment is through the use of insurance. If you own property, you should have homeowners insurance. Right? If you have a mortgage, it's required. If you don't have a mortgage, it's not legally required to have a homeowner's insurance, but really it is advisable to protect against life's catastrophes, fire, flood, the elements. If you have a business, you should have business insurance. So really, insurance is the number one way. The number 8 way, right, that's one. Number 8 was avoid risky situations and speak to your lawyer. I combined the two, right? Do your due diligence, do your homework about the real property you have, be up to speed as an owner for whether or not you need the insurance, how you go about following the rules and regulations of the city and the state for your municipality, for your piece of property. So, today I had a real estate closing, unrelated to elder law or the work I do with seniors or even estate planning. I represented clients that were selling a property, and I don't often speak about real property, but it's something that I've done the entirety of my career. It actually works nicely with estate planning in that, passing assets onto the next generation. Sometimes after a probate, we have to sell property. Oftentimes, we will fund a trust with a piece of property. So handling real estate matters and working with deeds and transfer deeds and the selling of property, it works together nicely. So the situation today is that two couples owned a two-family, right? Sisters-in-law, brothers, they own the property, and one of them is moving out of state and the other is moving in state. So we are still coordinating with the sale today in New York and the purchase in Florida on Tuesday. We had to coordinate a wire and a payoff of the mortgage here and a portion of the proceeds to satisfy the loan in Florida. Now, I don't work in Florida. I'm only an attorney in New York, but we had to do that coordination. And then the other couple, they're buying a property here in New York. So it's the exciting part of real estate. A sell and then two buys. Woohoo! It's a busy time for real estate. Next week, we have 3 closings, 2 buyers and a seller. Myself and my paralegal, we've been getting the files prepped. Things to do. Obtaining mortgage payoffs, checklists, determining what fees are due, commissions, what adjustments to do, oil in the tank, real estate tax. There's a lot to do. We've been busy like bees. Real estate is going great guns. I spoke to a realtor today, and there's 2 reasons that I could identify. Some pent up buyers and sellers. Maybe we're fixed in time, frozen because of the pandemic. And the interest rates. The interest rates are great. So if you haven't gotten on the bandwagon, now is the time to sell or to buy. If you need to speak with me about your situation, please go to frankbrunolaw.com. Schedule an interview, read a blog post, watch a video. Any way that you can become familiar with perhaps the remedies that could address your situation. Thank you very much.